Chillify drama script, The Price of Deceit, and a freeloading husband who kept a mistress. After a long business trip left me utterly exhausted, every muscle aching, I decided to go to bed early. In the middle of the night, a thirst woke me. I got up and slowly made my way out of the room to find water. As I passed my in-laws' room, I suddenly heard hushed whispers from inside. Serendipitously, those words unveiled a horrifying secret, an earth-shattering conspiracy I could never have imagined. For years, ever since I married Leo, I had poured my heart and soul into this family. My love and dedication to them were immeasurable. I always tried to give everyone a good, happy life. Yet, what I overheard was a massive shock, a cruel betrayal. My entire husband's family, the people I trusted and loved, were plotting to harm me and seize my assets. Just then, soft footsteps echoed from outside. It must have been Leo returning. My heart pounded against my ribs. I quickly turned to face the wall, avoiding his gaze and presence. I didn't want to face the man who had deceived me, the man who was conspiring against me. Leo gently entered the room, standing silently by the bed, his steps soft and deliberate. I knew he was watching me, probing to see if I had realized anything. I had to put on a perfect act. I breathed steadily, feigning deep sleep, maintaining absolute silence to see what else he would try. Playing games, huh? What a cunning family. A moment later, finding no irregularities, he turned and carefully closed the door. If I hadn't overheard their calculating words, I would surely have felt warmth and happiness from his thoughtful concern. But now, all of it only filled me with disgust and contempt. I never thought a family with such an outwardly gentle and kind appearance could conceal and act so skillfully. Fine, I'll play along. Let's see who gets the last laugh. In the quiet room, after a long while, I softly slid off the bed, my bare feet gently touching the cold, tiled floor. The sound I made was minimal, almost imperceptible. I knew Leo was in his study. In the past, I was too naive, too trusting, never suspecting a thing. Countless nights, he would work there late, only returning to our room at dawn. I just thought he was busy with work, never once considering checking on him. But today was different. I understood everything, understood their true faces. This family of 3 lived in my villa, ate my food, used my belongings, everything was my asset, yet they betrayed me, plotting to kick me out of my home empty-handed. Dream on. Perhaps it was his guilt that made Leo particularly cautious, keeping his study door closed. That inadvertently gave me the opportunity to listen in on that dark conversation. As someone who once managed a construction company, I used to dismiss such petty tricks. But now, I secretly thanked it, for it helped me uncover the filthy true colors of his entire family. The only thing was, the content of the conversation almost made me vomit blood. "My love, I miss you so much, I can't even sleep. That woman, she sleeps like a dead pig. If I sold her, she wouldn't even know. Don't worry, I won't do anything to her. My heart belongs only to you." Leo was talking to another woman. His saccharine, fake, and deceptive words filled me with revulsion, making me want to throw up. Enough, I couldn't bear to listen anymore. I had to suppress the disgust to avoid exposing them immediately. I needed to prepare meticulously for everything. I would kick their entire family out of my villa, not letting them take even a penny. They thought I was a fool, rich, and easily manipulated. Fine, I'll play the fool for them. I'll watch the show unfold, and we'll see who laughs last. The next morning, when I opened my eyes, Leo was still beside me, as if nothing had happened. He was still in my embrace, as if completely innocent. I turned and sat up, preparing to change clothes. Leo leaned in, wrapping his arms around my waist, his voice sweet and coaxing. "Wife, it's still early, let's sleep a little longer." I struggled to suppress the anger, wanting to slap him directly, to push away his wandering hands. "I have urgent business at the company this morning, I need to go in early." Leo feigned heartache. "Wife, don't work so hard. Why don't you be like other women, stay home and enjoy yourself? Look at you, you've lost so much weight lately." It wasn't the first time he'd offered to help me manage the company, to share my workload. In the past, I might have considered it. But after what I heard and witnessed last night, I knew exactly what kind of man he was. I would never be foolish enough to be tricked and sold out by him, then help him count the money like an idiot. In the past, I was too naive, deluded, and blindly chose the wrong person, misjudging his character. But that was over now. I didn't even bother to look up, as if everything was clear. This was my father's life's work. I was determined to preserve it, protect it, and pass it on to my child. He was just a man from a poor village with nothing to his name. Back then, I chose him because I thought he was sincere, honest, and free of schemes. At our wedding, his family couldn't even afford the down payment for a house. Yet my parents generously gifted us a luxurious, fully furnished villa as a wedding present. 3/7 of the way into our marriage, to pave the way for his career, my father even arranged for him to be the head of the company's purchasing department. But it wasn't long before he was caught accepting bribes from suppliers behind our backs. To protect the family's reputation, my father transferred him to manage a small trading company owned by our family, offering it as an explanation to shareholders. Leo, however, didn't like such small companies, feeling he had no room to shine, constantly eyeing my family's big cake, my father's life's work. How could I easily hand it over to someone else so senselessly? That's why, even though he hinted at it many times, I never agreed. I never imagined he was such a despicable, contemptible scoundrel. After washing my face, I went downstairs. My in-laws were already up. The maid had breakfast laid out on the table. My mother-in-law still acted as if nothing was amiss, displaying her usual enthusiastic and affectionate demeanor, gently calling me, "Sweetheart, come have breakfast." In the past, no matter how busy I was, I always tried to make time to eat breakfast with them. But this morning, I had no appetite whatsoever. No, to be more precise, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to control myself and would throw all the food in their faces. Trying to maintain a calm facade, I glanced at her and said softly, "Something urgent came up at the company. I won't eat. I'm leaving." As I stepped out the door, I saw my in-laws exchanging smiles, their eyes betraying a smug, joyful satisfaction. In my heart, I secretly vowed, just wait. You too can enjoy your smugness now, but soon your entire family will weep bitterly and pay the price. Upon arriving at the company, I immediately instructed my secretary to investigate all of Leo's recent movements. Last night, I overheard only part of the conversation through the crack in the door, and the sound wasn't clear, so there were some things I needed to actively grasp the situation myself. Immediately afterward, I contacted my assistant, asking him to pack my luggage at home, especially to bring all my valuable jewelry to the company. I didn't want to stay in that house for another minute, and I certainly didn't want to see the fake, deceitful faces of those three. Very soon, Leo called. "My dear wife, are you going on another business trip?" In the past, I would have considered it concern. Now, it only made me nauseous. But it wasn't time to expose him yet, so I swallowed the disgust, trying to feign ignorance. "There's a problem with the project in the province. I have to go." On the other end, he pretended to care. "Wife, remember to take care of yourself, be careful on the road, and make sure you eat properly." If I hadn't personally heard his true colors last night, anyone hearing this conversation would have thought it was the words of a thoughtful, caring, devoted husband. I didn't want to hear his act anymore, so I coldly cut him off. "I'm busy, I'm hanging up." Having navigated the business world for so many years, I knew full well that to defeat someone, you must attack their weak points. Before having concrete evidence, it was best to remain calm. "You betrayed me, Leo. Don't blame me for being ruthless." Not long after, he texted again. "Wife, are you taking all your jewelry with you too?" I sneered inwardly. "If I don't take it, should I leave it for your whole family to use?" I simply replied with one word, "Yes, for clients." He continued to text various things on WeChat, but I didn't bother to read them, ignoring them directly. It's not the right time yet, and I didn't dare block him to avoid arousing suspicion. Very quickly, the detailed investigation report from my secretary was placed on my desk. Looking at the list of places Leo frequented when I was on business trips, my heart felt squeezed, an unbearable pain. "Leo, you ungrateful wretch, is this how you treat me?" The 4 places Leo frequently visited were all high-end apartments in the western suburbs of the city. These were apartments I had purchased outright before marriage, without borrowing a single penny. From the initial blueprints to the meticulous completion of every interior detail, all of it was the result of my hard work, time, and all the money I had painstakingly saved during a difficult period. Yet, after our wedding, those cozy apartments were left vacant. Before the new year, Leo made a seemingly reasonable suggestion that leaving the houses empty was wasteful and renting them out would provide a stable income. At the time, I didn't hesitate. I simply agreed and told him to handle the arrangements himself. In my heart, I trusted him unconditionally, but I never imagined he could be so brazen, daring to openly use my houses to keep his mistress. I still remember it vividly. At that time, he tried to win my favor, explaining that the tenant was a newly graduated student with difficult circumstances, so the rent was quite low. Believing in his love and sincerity, I readily agreed, even saying that as long as the house was kept clean, a slightly lower rent wasn't an issue because my family wasn't lacking anything. The clear memory still haunted me. He had hugged me tightly, whispering sweet words. I know my wife is the most understanding. Now, looking back, I realized how foolish I had been. It turned out that behind his charming facade, he was just trying to save money for himself. Thinking of this, my fury erupted. I picked up my phone and dialed. His oily voice echoed from the other end. My dear wife, missing me so soon? The anger threatened to choke me. I struggled to suppress it, each word coming out cold. Send me the old apartment rental contract. Leo's vigilance was clear in his voice. What do you need it for? I had a ready, plausible reason. I want to check the contract duration because a friend wants to rent that house. He immediately prevaricated. I don't remember where I put it, I'll have to look for a while. I didn't give him a chance to evade. Find it quickly. My friend is willing to pay double the rent. This play acting was so transparent. All it took was opening my mouth, not a penny spent. Very quickly, a contract was sent via WeChat. I carefully examined it. It turned out it was only 3 months from expiring. What was noteworthy was that the rental amount showed signs of alteration from $800 to $2,000. However, considering the location and condition of the apartment in that area, the market rent should be at least $3,000 a month. I immediately sent a message via WeChat. When the contract expires, no need to renew. My friend will move in. I didn't know how Leo reacted, but those things were no longer on my list of concerns. Having announced that I was on a business trip, I decided not to return home, avoiding facing the fake faces of all 3 of them. Near quitting time, I deliberately drove a less-used company car, secretly heading towards my old apartment. I found a secluded spot to park from afar, observing the entrance to the apartment complex. Before long, I saw Leo confidently driving the black BMW I had bought for him. As he left the building, I let out a faint, cynical laugh, then silently followed. I knew he was going to pick up his mistress. I just wanted to witness the face of the woman who had captivated him so much. I maintained a sufficient distance, tailing the car without being detected. Leo stopped the car by the roadside with a look of excitement, quickly running out to open the door for a woman waiting there. When I clearly saw her face, I froze. Wasn't this Mia, Leo's younger cousin? Memories flooded back. Last year, when I had just returned from a business trip, I happened to catch her having an intimate meal with my in-laws at home. At that time, Leo had introduced her as Cousin Mia from the countryside, who had come to the city to look for work and stopped by to visit his parents, so the family invited her to stay for a meal. Mia then looked so simple, somewhat provincial, shy, and didn't dare look me in the eye. I even warmly welcomed her and showed concern, saying that if she had any difficulties, she should come to me and I would try to help. Seeing that I wasn't displeased, the entire in-laws family seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, and my mother-in-law kept praising me as an understanding woman. Now, recalling it, my mother-in-law's evasive gaze, my husband's reserved demeanor, all testified that something unusual had happened. It was just that back then, I was too naive, not perceptive enough to realize it. I couldn't believe they had dared to perform such a perfect play right before my eyes while I was completely blind. Indeed, a wonderful husband. I should thank his ancestors. Mia looked fuller than before. Perhaps because it was winter, she was wearing many layers of clothes, obscuring her appearance so I couldn't guess how many months pregnant she was. Last night, I vaguely heard that the baby was due soon. If I trace back, perhaps everything started when she first came to my house. That's when they began their secret affair. Before I could think further, Leo quickly circled to the driver's seat and started the car. I hastily followed. He drove around various streets, eventually returning to the very apartment I used to live in. I watched from afar as he tenderly helped Mia step up the stairs, his demeanor caring and thoughtful, as if they were the real couple. Before my eyes, this scene truly sent shivers down my spine. Now I realized, so the tenant, the newly graduated student, it was all a scam. They saw me as an idiot, using my house as their rendezvous spot. The rental contract was just a deceptive piece of paper. Even the tenant's name was fabricated. I really was too foolish not to notice. Haha, what a cunning pair. I will make them pay. Leo and I met in college. Back then, I kept my identity a secret, living simply like any other student without pretense or fanfare. Leo was the one who actively pursued me. He said he liked my calm, simple, and gentle nature. My father owned a large construction company. From a young age, I had everything, so I didn't value material possessions. Leo's family wasn't wealthy, but his academic achievements were always top of the class, earning scholarships every year. At that time, I was truly blinded by love, admiring his diligence and hard work. It was precisely because of that I saw him in a different light. The more we interacted, the more we gradually became lovers. After graduation, I had to return to my father's company because I was an only child. Knowing my true identity, Leo proactively suggested breaking up. He said he wasn't worthy, didn't want to climb too high. I disagreed, telling him that people couldn't choose where they were born, and not having anything now didn't mean it would be the same in the future. Money could be earned, as long as one worked hard with their own hands. Remembering those words of encouragement, we got back together as if nothing had happened. I used to think he wanted to break up because of his insecurity. Now I realize it was just a strategic retreat, 2 steps forward. What a pity, I was too naive then, I didn't realize. My father was quite open-minded. From a young age, he let me decide everything for myself, and as long as I was sure, he rarely interfered. My parents didn't support my marriage. My father said marriage should be between equals. My mother also thought I deserved someone better. But at that time, I was like someone drunk on love, choosing Leo despite everything. My parents had no choice. Fearing I would suffer if I married a poor man, they gifted me a villa, the very one I live in now, as a dowry. After 1 year of marriage, Leo said his parents in the countryside were in poor health and wanted to bring them to the city for easier care. Since taking over my father's company, I was busy all day, unable to visit them often, so I agreed. I always thought my sincerity would be duly rewarded. Who knew the entire family was secretly plotting to deceive and oppress me? The tiger doesn't roar, so you think I'm a sick cat. Leo and I had been married for 5 years. Our daughter, Lily, was only 2 years old this year. I still remember when I first got pregnant, not long after my in-laws moved to the city. At that time, they treated me very well. I was very grateful for that. Back then, my mother-in-law often cooked what she considered delicious meals to nourish me, which truly moved me. I met their kindness with kindness, never being wary of them, even proactively hiring a maid to take care of all the housework so they could enjoy their old age. But after my daughter was born, my in-laws' attitude began to change. Their eyes and words clearly showed disgust. The deeply rooted patriarchal ideology among people from rural backgrounds like them was even harder to change. As for me, my daughter was a treasure, absolutely not something worthless as they claimed. My mother-in-law always hoped I would give birth to a son, so when I gave birth to a daughter, I even felt a little guilty. Knowing they didn't like having a granddaughter, I took my child back to my parents' house, not wanting her to suffer their coldness. To protect my child from discrimination, I made it clear I wouldn't have any more children, decisively ending their fantasies. I never imagined they would hide such vile things from me. Clang, it's one thing not to know, but once I knew everything, how could I easily let it go? Eating my food, using my things, living in my house, yet treating me like this. Has your conscience been eaten by dogs? Watching Leo disappear behind the door, I didn't scream or make a scene like other women. Instead, I coldly turned my car around and drove straight ahead. He wants a son? Go ahead and have one. I'll make him pay dearly. I won't even leave him a pair of underwear. He betrayed me first, so don't blame me for being ruthless. I returned to my parents' embrace. At that time, they had just taken my daughter on a trip abroad. This gave me time and space to thoroughly think about the path ahead. As night fell, by habit, Leo texted, "My dear wife, good night." I felt no warmth, only disgust. Eating from my bowl, eyeing what's in my pot, yet still daring to feign care and love, where did he get such strange confidence? I immediately contacted the legal department, outlining my plans. Indeed, my father had foresight. Even before marriage, he had completed the procedures to ensure the assets were in my name. Back then, to prove he wasn't after money, Leo even proactively signed a separate property certificate, cooperating very happily. It's true that in this world, one should never be too complacent, lest they pay a heavy price someday. Days passed like that. That morning, upon arriving at the company, I received a call from Leo. Thinking back, it had been almost a week since I left home. He asked when I would return, offering to pick me up at the airport. I remembered our wedding anniversary was approaching. Every year at this time, I would give him a valuable gift. Perhaps this year he was subtly reminding me, but everything was different now. I was no longer as naive as before. The things I had given him I now considered dog food. To keep him from suspecting, I said I might return early. I knew if I didn't say that, he would somehow fly over to find me. Then everything would unravel. But hiding it forever wasn't a good idea either. So, the day before our anniversary, I actually got on a plane and flew to another city. When Leo called, I had just settled into my hotel room. He asked, "My dear wife, what time do you land?" I replied, "I'm sorry, darling, the project here ran into some trouble. I've already arrived in City A, I can't come back today." He feigned disappointment, blaming me for not informing him so he could fly over with me. I pretended to be naive. Things happened so suddenly, I didn't have much time to think. I didn't mention our wedding anniversary, nor did I want to waste any more money senselessly. Every year I spent tens of millions, and he only gave me a few empty, sweet words. Previously, every call would turn into endless conversation, but now I didn't even bother to open my mouth. I made an excuse and hung up, standing by the window, looking out at the sparkling city, silently counting the days. Mia must be about to give birth, right? I was waiting for the right moment to expose everything. Leo, however, acted as if nothing was wrong, texting me daily on WeChat. I ignored it. By the time I returned to the city, it was a week later. I changed clothes right in the office and rushed to a partner's grand opening ceremony. Unexpectedly, I ran into Leo. He looked like he hadn't seen me in a while. He was their first glass of wine in hand, chatting with some friends. Seeing me, he paused slightly. "My dear wife, when did you get back? Why didn't you tell me?" I calmly replied, "I wanted to surprise you." I saw a flicker of surprise in his eyes, but he quickly regained his composure. He shamelessly lied. "You haven't been home for days. I missed you so much I couldn't sleep." I just smiled faintly. "Who are you kidding? You probably couldn't wait for me to be gone so you could fool around with your mistress." Today's guests were people I knew, so naturally, a few polite greetings were unavoidable. Leo turned his back, secretly texting someone. I just smiled faintly to myself. Can't even wait a few minutes. I casually mingled with everyone, treating him as invisible. Seeing my indifference, he immediately found an excuse to come and fawn over me. "My dear wife, aren't you going to introduce me to everyone?" I slowly replied, my words like daggers. "Unimportant people. It doesn't matter if they know or not. I don't have time to create opportunities for you because you're not worthy." I circled the room once, then prepared to leave. Leo trailed behind me as I walked out of the hotel. He attentively opened the car door for me. Thinking of him tenderly helping Mia into the car the other day, my heart ached again, but I suppressed my anger, acting as if nothing was wrong. Arriving at the villa gate, I immediately saw my mother-in-law looking cheerful, carrying several boxes of pre-cooked food. As soon as she saw me, her eyes darted away, clearly hiding something. I understood implicitly and feigned a question. "Mom, where are you taking the food?" She quickly improvised. "Just taking some food to relatives." I pressed on, twisting the knife. "Who is it? Do I know them? Let me drive you." Hearing this, she hurriedly waved her hand. "No need, it's nothing important." Seeing she was alone and pitiful, I just brought her some food. I looked at the neatly packed boxes of food stir-fried ribs, braised fish, also carefully prepared. Did they think I was so stupid? My house already had a professional maid taking care of everything from A to Z, not just serving them and me, but now they also had to cater to his little love. How ridiculous. Eating my food, living in my house, spending my money, and still betraying me. Leo saw the situation was not good and quickly joined in. "My dear wife, you must be tired from your trip. Go in and rest. Mother can handle these small things herself." My mother-in-law quickly added fuel to the fire. "That's right, dear. Go inside. There's still a pot of soup in the kitchen. The maid can get you a bowl of noodles." In their eyes, was I still the stupid, easily manipulated fool? After eating and cleaning up, I went to bed very early. Leo approached, wanting to be affectionate. I immediately pushed him away. "I've been feeling unwell lately." He instantly panicked. "Unwell where? Do you need to go to the hospital?" It was then that I realized he had always used these tricks to coax me. Thinking of him using those same tricks on another woman, I felt utterly disgusted. I closed my eyes and burrowed under the covers. "It's nothing, a little rest is all I need. I'm tired, I'm going to sleep now." I was genuinely afraid that if I talked anymore, I wouldn't be able to control myself and would erupt. Seeing my lack of interest, Leo turned off the light, his fingers clattering on his phone, surely texting his mistress. Thinking of how many years I had slept with a scoundrel, I just wished I could kick him out of my life. My mother-in-law didn't come home tonight. She must be off taking care of her future daughter-in-law. Early the next morning, my eyes still half closed, I smelled familiar food. Leo brought breakfast to me, offering it tenderly. My dear wife, here's a breakfast full of love. Surprised, touched, I just wanted to throw up. Hastily pushing him away, I rushed into the bathroom. Leo frantically followed. Wife, what's wrong? Do you need to go to the hospital? Should I say, you make me nauseous? I struggled to reply. I haven't been sleeping well lately. It was then that I realized I wasn't so weak after all. Facing his mother and him, I could lie as easily as breathing. Hearing me say that, Leo relaxed. I thought you were pregnant. I laughed coldly to myself. Even if I were pregnant, it would never be yours. I told Leo to take breakfast downstairs. I would wash my face and come down later. As soon as he went down, I texted my assistant, reminding him to call for rescue at the right time. Just as I got downstairs, my phone rang. My assistant, always so understanding, reported an urgent document that needed my signature. I waved goodbye to Leo, my voice as sweet as honey. Darling, you go ahead and busy yourself with your work. I have to go now. Goodbye. He feigned excessive concern. Wife, have you eaten yet? Shall I pack some food for you? I shook my head vigorously, refusing outright. No need, my assistant has already taken care of everything. In truth, his food, I'd have to throw it in the trash myself, wasting effort and dirtying my hands. Just as I was about to start the car, Leo frantically ran out and asked, Wife, where has all the company money gone? I replied calmly, as if nothing was wrong. Lately, the financial situation has been a bit unstable. We just need to circulate some capital for a bit, that's all. He had to remember, he only had the right to operate, not to own, because my father and I were the main shareholders. As soon as I detected signs of betrayal, I quickly transferred the money to my company's private account. All major expenses now required my signature to be approved. Keeping a mistress is fine. I'll see what you use to support her. Leo looked a bit flustered. Wife, when can we get things back on track? I looked him straight in the eyes, questioning. Are you in urgent need of money? His eyes flashed with panic. No, I was just asking, afraid it might affect company operations. I smiled gently. It'll be done soon, it won't take long. He breathed a sigh of relief, but I knew that when everything fell apart, it would be too late to cry. That evening, I was home, and I clearly felt Leo was hiding something. He kept pacing, his face anxious, as if he wanted to speak but held back. I quickly texted my assistant, asking about Mia's situation. Just as predicted, she had been admitted to the hospital, preparing to give birth. No wonder Leo was so agitated, and my mother-in-law was absent, claiming to have gone back to her hometown to visit relatives. I guess she was off to take care of the baby. That night, I deliberately stayed in the study, pretending to be busy with work, just waiting for him to ask to leave. As expected, not long after, Leo brought in a glass of water, flattering me. My dear wife, you've worked so hard. I didn't even bother to look up, nonchalantly saying, You go ahead and sleep. I'm working overtime. There's a contract that needs to be finished today. Hearing this, his expression changed, and he stood hesitantly at the door. I deliberately asked, What's wrong? Is something the matter? He immediately adopted a pained expression. Wife, a friend called and invited me out to talk for a bit. I watched him lie without batting an eye. He truly leveled up his acting skills. Which friend? Do I know them? He hurriedly explained. No, you don't know them. But fine, if you don't want me to go, I'll stay home. Why wouldn't I want him to go? I had been waiting for this opportunity for so long. I smiled faintly. If it's a friend, then go, but remember not to drink and drive. He excitedly ran over, pecked me on the cheek and said, My wife is the best, I love you so much, I'm going now, get some rest. I vigorously wiped the spot he kissed, feeling utterly nauseous. Having to play act every day, I was so tired. But it was coming, everything was about to end. Hearing the door close, I changed clothes and drove to the hospital. It was time to expose their true faces. I went straight to the maternity ward. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, I saw Leo supporting Mia along the corridor from a distance. She must have been in labor, in so much pain she couldn't stand straight. My mother-in-law walked behind, her face beaming with joy. Mia leaned into Leo's embrace, groaning incessantly. It hurts so much, I don't want to give birth anymore. Leo coaxed her, his voice sweet. Just bear with it a little longer, it'll be over soon. I'll buy you anything you want. He accidentally looked up and met my gaze, instantly freezing. I stood there, arms crossed, coldly watching the three of them as if enjoying a good play. My mother-in-law and Mia never expected me to appear here. Both of them stiffened. Yes, I knew exactly where Mia was hospitalized. I came here to watch their drama unfold right before me. Leo's face changed faster than flipping a pancake. He hastily flung Mia's hand away like a bullet, rushing towards me, stammering. "My dear wife, why are you here?" I responded with a light flick of my hand. "If I didn't come, how would I get to see this spectacular love drama?" Seeing his scheme exposed, Leo started to panic. "Wife, listen to me, let me explain. It's not what you think." I stood with my arms crossed, nonchalant. "Then go ahead, speak your mind. Let's hear it." Seeing my strange calmness, he seemed a bit flustered. Leo timidly asked, "Wife, can we go home? I'll explain everything when we get home." I remained still, my gaze icy. "No need to go home. What's there to hide about this? Wouldn't it be more convenient to say it right here?" Leo looked at me, then glanced at Mia, his face clearly troubled. But that mistress was no pushover either. She cooed delicately, "Leo, it hurts so much. I'm about to give birth." I sneered. "It hurts now." "Didn't you think about the consequences when you were having fun?" Leo was helpless, his voice soft. "Wife, please don't be like this." I cut him off. "Don't call me wife anymore, it makes me sick." My mother-in-law, unable to stand it, charged forward. "Who talks to their husband like that?" I didn't bother to let her drone on. "It's not your place to speak here. This is between Leo and me." Leo hurriedly gestured to stop his mother. He lowered his voice. "Wife, Mia is about to give birth, and you know she has no one close here. Mom and I will go over to take care of her for a bit." I was full of disdain, my tone sarcastic. "Just simple care, you expect me to believe that?" Leo nodded profusely. "Yes, just helping her out a bit." I smiled faintly. "If she can produce a child for someone else, why not let the father take care of her? What right do you have to interfere?" My mother-in-law, already annoyed, flared up. She pointed a finger at my face, shouting, "How dare you speak like that? Mia is family. What's wrong with helping each other?" I didn't need to be polite. "Family? You've been hiding this from me for so long. Aren't you tired? Don't think I'm stupid." I saw Leo and Mia's faces turn pale, especially Leo, who didn't even dare to look at me, his voice trembling. "Wife, what do you mean by that?" I looked him straight in the eyes. "I mean exactly what I said. I'm not blind, nor am I crazy. She's pregnant with your child. How long were you planning to hide it?" With the truth exposed, Leo immediately lowered his voice, begging, "Wife, I was wrong. Can you give me another chance? I'm only taking care of her because she's pregnant with my child." I stood with my arms crossed, my face cold, waiting to see what other tricks he had up his sleeve. Leo stood shielding Mia, softly pleading, "You know my mother really wants a grandson, and Mia is pregnant. I thought I'd give her some money after the birth, and that would be it." I was stunned. "What do you mean?" "You want me to raise your child with another woman? Dream on." Not understanding the hidden meaning in my words, he even tried to explain, "Don't worry, you don't need to get involved. My mother and I can raise him." I had never seen anyone so shameless. I was shaking with anger. "You eat my food, live in my house, and now you demand I raise your illegitimate child? Am I unlucky or crazy enough to let you do whatever you want?" Leo no longer bothered to pretend, losing all patience. "You know everything, so why hide it? Just tell me what you want directly. I don't want to drag this out." "Leo, tomorrow morning at 9:00 a.m., meet me at the marriage registry office. If you don't come, I'll have my lawyer file a lawsuit for adultery, and we'll see how many years you'll spend in prison with that girl. It's up to you." My mother-in-law heard this and, enraged, chased after me, yelling, "I've been looking at you for too long, you're an eyesore. Having a daughter and still putting on airs? Divorce then, who's afraid of whom?" I turned back to face them, coldly declaring, "Then let's meet at the Civil Affairs Department tomorrow morning. Whoever doesn't divorce is a dog." Leo tried to follow, but Mia's groans made him immediately change direction. He rushed to support her. "Are you about to give birth?" I didn't bother to look back, turning and walking away, not a single lingering thought for those two hateful figures. Just looking at them was enough to make me sick. Back home, I didn't even bother to rest. I packed up everything that didn't belong to me, piling it up outside the door like a declaration of war, then immediately called a locksmith to change the locks. My father-in-law, knowing everything was exposed, didn't dare make a sound, secretly slipping away. I had waited for this moment for too long. I couldn't endure another day. I no longer cared for this villa. I would sell it and buy a new house, ending everything once and for all. The next morning, I arrived promptly at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Leo was already waiting, looking visibly haggard, surely having stayed up all night worrying about the pregnant woman. As soon as my car stopped, he immediately rushed over. My dear wife, do we really have to get a divorce? I coldly handed him the stack of prepared documents. Sign it. It's come to this. I don't want to argue much. He took the stack of papers, read them carefully over and over, then looked up. You want me to leave empty-handed? I sneered. What do you want then? Or do you want me to compensate you? His true colors were completely exposed without any pretense. We've been married for 5 years. My assets also have a part of yours, don't they? I glanced sideways, bluntly replying, Leo, wake up. This company belongs to my father. Before we married, we signed papers. You personally agreed to waive all rights during the marriage. He hadn't given up yet. Then what about my contributions to the family all these years? Are they worth nothing? I responded with contempt. All these years, your whole family lived off me, used my things, lived in my house. I haven't even settled accounts yet. Now you dare to claim compensation for your efforts? Leo's face darkened. What about custody of the child? I replied clearly. My child, I will raise her. You don't need to spend a single cent on child support. Of course, there was something I didn't say. I would find a new husband, a good father for my daughter. Leo exploded. I won't agree to a divorce. I won't agree to leave empty-handed. I looked at him with utter disdain. Leo, you committed adultery and I haven't even sued you yet. Now I want a peaceful divorce to save you a little face. If you refuse, I'll take it to court. Then we'll see who loses more face. This city is small. If our story spreads, your business career is over. Seeing my resolve, his face turned pale. We've been together for 5 years. Are you really so heartless? I scoffed. That's a question I should be asking. What did you have when you married me? Your family didn't spend a single penny on the wedding. Everything was arranged by my parents, helping you live a decent life. Who knew you'd be such an ungrateful traitor, using my money to support another woman and have a child outside? Keep dreaming. Leo was speechless, unable to retort. I continued, my father entrusted the company to you, and it lost tons of money every year. That's your incompetence, don't blame anyone else. He opened his mouth to say something but ultimately swallowed his words. I looked him straight in the eye, stating clearly, you committed adultery during our marriage. Now I'm giving you a chance for an amicable divorce. If you don't sign, I will sue you for marital infidelity. Then you won't just lose everything, you'll also go to prison with that girl. I placed the stack of evidence I had collected in front of him, intimate photos, information about the baby. That was enough to send them to prison. Faced with my determination, Leo finally reluctantly signed the papers. The divorce procedures were quickly completed. As soon as we left the Civil Affairs Bureau, I casually reminded him, oh, right, your and your mother's belongings have all been cleared out and are at the security office. Pick them up when you're free. I won't be responsible if they go missing. He gritted his teeth, his voice full of indignation. Are you really so heartless? You want me to leave empty-handed? I smiled. Yes, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. This marriage, in the end, left me with a child, which is a small comfort. There's also one important task that needs to be dealt with immediately. Taking advantage of the fact that those two were in the hospital, I immediately went back to the old apartment, called a professional cleaning crew to collect and dispose of all the belongings that weren't mine, piled everything in the hallway, changed the locks, and then promptly put it up for sale online. That apartment held so many memories, but now it had been defiled by those two hateful people. Just thinking about it made me shudder. It was time to cut ties. Because I priced it very low, someone came to view the house that very afternoon. With the shocking discount, the purchase agreement was quickly signed. That evening, Leo called, his voice irritated. After all, we were husband and wife. How can you be so heartless? I didn't need to be polite. When you were in bed with her in this very house, did you forget I bought it? You eat my food, use my money, and you still want me to support your mistress and your illegitimate child? Do you think I'm stupid? He couldn't argue, only gritting his teeth. You're good, you're really good. I scoffed. It's not over yet. The real show is still to come. Just wait and see. I knew Mia had given birth to a son, which was also the reason Leo agreed to the divorce. I had secretly arranged for someone to collect a blood sample from the child and compare it with Leo's hair for DNA. Holding the results in my hand, I burst out laughing. Heaven truly has eyes. I didn't know how shocked he would be when he received the news. I immediately took a picture of the test results and sent it to him, no blood relationship. Immediately after, I blocked all communication. I never fight a battle without preparation. I made him leave empty-handed, then gave him his special gift. Didn't you want a son? It's not that easy. When he found out he was raising another man's child, I wonder what Leo would do? I was immensely eager. That evening, my assistant sent me a link to the hottest news online. The headline immediately caught my eye: Tycoon supports Mistress, child not his own, angrily assaults her in public. In the video, Leo had lost all face, grabbing Mia's hair, loudly scolding her for betraying him. Mia, having just given birth and still in her confinement period, dressed in thick clothes, covered her face, crying hysterically. Around them, people gathered to watch, everyone holding their phones, recording clips. It was as lively as a fair. I silently turned off my phone. My heart was calm as a still lake. Leo and I were divorced. His affairs no longer concerned me. I never thought that mother and son would have the nerve to come knocking on my door. That night, I was at my parents' house, hearing continuous knocking. Looking through the peephole, it was Leo and his mother. I didn't want to open it, but the old woman kept knocking, fearing it would disturb the neighbors, so I had no choice but to open. Before Leo could even speak, his mother quickly said, "Sweetheart, Leo knows he was wrong. Give him another chance." I coldly refused. "Never, we're divorced." What he does no longer concerns me. She no longer had her arrogant demeanor, lowering her voice to beg, "How can it not concern you? You two were once husband and wife, and you have a child together. Can you just say goodbye and walk away?" Leo also whimpered, "Wife, give me a chance to make amends. I was blinded, tricked by that wicked woman. I didn't know the child was someone else's." I just smiled faintly, not replying. Knowing Leo was having an affair with Mia, I had sent someone to investigate. She was just an ordinary restaurant worker who had been on and off with her ex-boyfriend countless times. Even while dating Leo, she was still entangled with her ex. Leo was simply a cuckold, so green he probably didn't even know whose child Mia was carrying, and when she saw her future mother-in-law liked it, she pretended to be silent. She didn't know Leo was just a leech. Seeing my silence, he continued his act. "Wife, it's my fault. I was momentarily confused, blinded. I swear I'll never be like that again." Tired of their mother and son act, I blurted out without reservation. "I heard everything that conversation that night when I went to get water. Do you still expect me to turn a blind eye?" Now, I had to thank heaven for showing me the truly disgusting nature of this family. Smiling faintly, I told myself I might be foolish, but I wouldn't fall in the same place twice. It had come to this, there was nothing left to salvage. Their whispered words from that night still echoed in my ears. "Be careful not to let the girl find out, it'll be a hassle." My mother-in-law's voice. "I know, that's why Mom has been taking care of my mistress for me lately." Leo's voice. "What if that girl finds out? I don't want to go back to the countryside. This villa is much better." My father-in-law's voice. "Don't worry, she's stupid and easily manipulated. Even if she finds out, I have a way to kick her out empty-handed." Just thinking about it made my blood boil. I extended my hand, bluntly asking for my car keys. He started vigilantly asking, "What are you going to do?" I scoffed. "The car is my premarital asset. Even if I sell it for scrap, it's my right. Outsiders have no business interfering." This statement was a wake-up call. His mother immediately snatched the keys, loudly proclaiming, "You gave it to my son, so it's his. What are you trying to reclaim?" I didn't want to argue. "It's fine. Tomorrow, my lawyer will deal with both of you. From now on, don't dream of getting anything from me." My firm words left both mother and son agape. They must have never expected someone as gentle as me to be so resolute. I decisively roared, "You thought I was Hello Kitty." His mother hurriedly pleaded, "All men make mistakes sometimes. I guarantee Leo will change and be devoted to you." I laughed scornfully. "The chance is over. One betrayal means 100 times can't be trusted. I don't need that kind of man." She immediately changed her tune. "You think if you leave my son, you'll find someone handsome who treats you well?" I raised an eyebrow, challenging her. "Two-legged frogs are rare, but two-legged men are everywhere. I don't have to die on a rotten branch like him. Your son is just leeching off me anyway. Do you really think, with all the assets I have, I'll be short of young men?" Seeing their stubbornness, I immediately called the building security to deal with them. I have to admit, I took advantage of his ignorance to force the divorce. But compared to what they did, what I did was nothing. I haven't even sued him for fraudulent marriage. Consider it out of respect for our past. Under the escort of security, Leo and his mother reluctantly left. I always believed that emotion and effort given to the right person is an investment. Given to the wrong person, it's just a waste. Be strong when you need to be strong, and gentle when you need to be gentle. Getting rid of these parasites truly feels good to me. I need to go celebrate a little. Music.